Welcome back to the Best of Yvonne podcast, where today it's episode 23. And it's one of my favorite topics. I talk about this so much. And the reason why I'm talking about it today is because of an experience that happened yesterday. So today's topic is fear will always keep you where you are. I've talked about this time and time again, but I believe it is such a beautiful and important topic to talk about. Fear is the invisible prison we all live in at some point, and most people, I would say, live in it consistently, or at least 85% of people live in this fear-based thinking the majority of their life. So the situation that happened yesterday is I've been negotiating the sale of my St. George clinic with 3 of our grads. I always like to sell my business to our grads and keep it in the family, more or less. And so the student came over and we got talking, and I said, so what's your decision? What have you decided? Because really I need to move forward and I have other people lined up, but I've promised it to them. So she's like, I'm just scared. Like, what if this and what if that? And I just said, I'm happy to sell it to you, but either way, you need to do what is best for you. But I will tell you this, if you don't go all in on yourself, I guarantee you're going to be in the same exact position a year from now. You've already invested $3,000 to take a training with me. You might as well at least start as a booth renter. I mean, what's $400 or $500 a month? If you're a nurse practitioner, you're probably making $150K a month or a year anyway. So what if you just start small? What if you just take one step closer in the direction of where you want to go? But I will promise you this, you will always find what you are looking for. So your mind is going to tell you all the reasons why you're going to fail. Your mind is going to tell you all the scary things to protect you. That's the mind's job. It's to protect you. But if it paralyzes you, you will be stuck. You will feel stuck and you won't be moving forward in the direction of what it is you want to do. So I told her, I said, listen, I want you to think about it. I want you to write down all the things that are scaring you and write down all the reasons why you don't feel this is right. But then on the flip coin, I want you to write down all the things, all the possibilities, all the what ifs. What if it does go well? What if you do make a lot of money? What if you do build a clientele? And I always say it takes at least 2 years realistically to build a clientele. Anytime you do anything, for example, this podcast, I know it's not the best yet, but I'm planting the seeds with every single podcast that I record. I get better at every single episode, or at least I hope I do, because I'm reflecting on how I can do better. I'm reflecting on how I can show up more. I'm reflecting on how I need to slow down and get the message across. So I want to ask you this. If there is something in your life that you've been wanting to do and you just haven't done it yet, take out a sheet of paper, draw a line down the center of it, and write the pros and cons on each side. I learned this as a child when I'm trying to make a decision. And then I want you to feel into those thoughts and see what comes up for you. Is it anxiety? Does your heart begin to race? Does your mouth get dry? Is your mind just going all over the place? Because here's the secret. Your mind will control you until you learn how to control your mind. And the reason why there's more people more successful than you, the only reason why is because they've taken action. They didn't let the fear paralyze them. What is the fear costing you? I also want you to write this down. Is the fear costing you missed opportunities? Is the fear costing self-belief? Is the fear costing you time that you'll never get back? The student already invested a full day of training and $3,000 to learn a new skill. And all I'm asking is that come do one day, rent a booth for $85 for the day and see 1 or 2 patients. That will pay for your $500 a month rent. That's where I started as a new injector. I started in one tiny little room in a hair salon. And I worked at it every day, just a few hours here and a few hours there between dropping kids off at kindergarten and picking them up. I remember a time that I forgot to pick up my kids from kindergarten and my heart sunk. And I thought, oh my gosh, it is going to be hard. You're going to have trials. You're going to have challenges. You're going to go through things that you question why you're doing what you're doing. Even after 10 years of business, there's times where I still question, but I remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. And if you don't go all in on you, you're going to look back and you're going to have regret. It's very rare that people regret making a decision on going all in on themselves. I want to share another story with you. So we just finished our MAAI Summit. It was our 4th annual medical conference in Park City that we hold every year. And last year on Sunday, on the final day, one of our audience members stood up. She's a previous my grad. Her name is Taffy, and she stood up and she said, I've been so inspired and so transformed from these lectures today that as I sit here, I've made the decision that tomorrow I'm going to resign from the hospital from a position I've been at for 30 years. She said, I'm the sole breadwinner for my family. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I can't sit here and stuff these emotions and feelings down. I need to see what this is. I need to see what this calling is, what this voice inside of me is saying. I need to go all in on myself. And we put her on stage. She didn't know I was going to do this, but I put her on stage 2 weeks ago and I asked her to share her story. She won an award, not just in one category, but in 3 categories within 1 year of going all in on herself. She won best in the state of Utah in 3 different categories. And she's expanding her med spa already after 1 year. It has grown that much. And she went all in and she was sharing with everyone how happy she is and how grateful she is that she attended the conference the year before and she made the decision to go all in on herself. And that is not the only story. There were several stories of that exact scenario of those that decided to go all in, how much they've grown, how much they've learned in the process, but they're so grateful they did because they're in a much better place. Fear is a signal for growth. It's not a stop sign. Okay, I want to say that again. Fear is your signal for growth. It is not a stop sign. We are here to expand our soul's experience. We're here to expand, to grow, to evolve. And we are only born with 2 fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noise. We test these on newborns when they are born to make sure that they can hear and that they have that. So if it's like the morals reflex. So all the other fears that you currently have in your life, you've learned from your upbringing, from your life's experience. But again, false evidence appears real. It's fear. It's false. Your mind creates a story, and oftentimes it's reflections from past experiences that bring it forward. So I'm going to share another story with you. In this business that I'm selling, we have a booth rental business inside of this med spa. And my booth renters stay with me for years because I have a month-to-month contract. It's pretty much, we have no drama. If you're not happy, please leave. And if we're not happy with you, we're going to ask you to leave. And so people stay forever, and we make it very affordable. It's good energy. Everyone minds their own business, and we're very respectful and kind to one another. And we had a booth renter in there that had 2 rooms. And she had asked me when she moved in, if you ever decide to sell, will you let me know? So I let her know that I was considering selling, and she wanted to know all the details, all the numbers, what everything looked like. And she said, I don't want to buy your business. I want to take over your lease. Now, mind you, I did a full build out, over $100,000 to make this office beautiful. So of course, anybody would want to take over the lease because my lease is really inexpensive because I put so much money up front into it. And so as we got talking, I let her know that I would really like to sell all the equipment. I have $358,000 worth of equipment that's hardly been used. I have a very successful booth rental business that generates revenue, and I would really like to sell it together. So I could sense the fear in her that if I sold the business, that she would have to leave. And so I let her do her thing. She's like, I'm going to move out the first of the month. And I knew what was happening. I knew her mind was starting to take over and put all the what ifs. And so I just waited for her to have the conversation. And sure enough, she did. She came to me and I said, let's have this conversation. I sense the fear. I sense the hesitancy that if I sell the business, that you'll have nowhere to go. But I want to let you know that that is part of the agreement. When I sell the business, the booth rental business is part of it. Well, her fear came up because in her past, she had 3 other experiences that kicked her out of being a booth renter because they didn't like the name of her business. But she didn't have the one most current experience that she reflected on, which was the experience with me, which was a beautiful experience. She's been there for years. We've never had any conflict. She comes and goes. She has her own alarm. She can come and go as she wishes. We've gotten along great. But she chose not to reflect on that experience. She chose to reflect on the 3 prior experiences, which were all fear-based. So she made an assumption that whoever moved in and bought the business would kick her out based on the name of her business. Now, I tried to calm her fears and explain to her, I'm in no hurry to sell. I own the business. I own it outright. I don't owe anybody anything. I don't need to sell it if I don't want to. The reason why I was selling is I'm trying to offload some things energetically to allow more of the things I want to be focusing on. But I want to sell it to a student, and I know how profitable the business is already, that if a student buys it, there's money coming in already that will offset the expense of the rest of the business. So I tried to reassure her. She was calm. She understood. She's like, okay, I want to stay. I really enjoy it here. I like it here. And then within a week, she was gone anyway. Because the mind will always consume you with negative thoughts. You have to realize that you are living life with a certain lens of perspective on life. And again, 85% of the world lives from a fear-based lens. And so I want you to be very mindful as you go throughout your life, specifically each and every day, how often is fear showing up? And what are you doing to resolve it? Are you running from it? Are you stuffing it down? We need to process this and we need to put it in its place. The other thing is, I want you to name your fear. So when you create this list, your pros and cons, I want you to name the fear. Put it on paper and try to identify where it's coming from. It may come up from some experience or episode in your childhood. And as an adult, and if you do this assignment, I promise you'll be able to look at it from a bigger perspective, a more adult, grown up, realistic perspective, and you'll be able to put it in its place. And if you take one micro step toward what scares you each and every day, one micro step in the direction of where you want to go, it's tiny. Like worst case scenario, you back up a step if it feels too uncomfortable. But I want you to lean into the discomfort because that's where we grow. I want you to look over your life and think about all the things that caused growth the most. Oftentimes it's the scariest, most painful things. But once we get on the other side of it, life is so much more beautiful. And I know you know all of this, but I want you to practice it in your daily life. Surround yourself with expanders. Listen to this podcast. Listen to other people. A few of my favorite people to listen to are Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown. Listen, even like one of the most current is Mel Robbins. Listen to people that are going to expand your mind, that are going to expand your experience, and surround yourself with people that are going to push you to get uncomfortable, people who show you what is possible. I was just at a women's conference about 3 weeks ago, and I am so grateful for that experience. Not only did I meet several beautiful women, but I met women that were doing some unthinkable things. I'm like, I need to start dreaming bigger. If she is showing me right here, right now, what is possible, I need to level up. I need to go bigger. And it's not bigger on, I need to make more money. It's bigger on the impact. It's stepping in more fuller to my potential. It's showing up as the woman I want to be 3, 5, 10, 20 years from now. Who is she? What is she doing? And what is the impact she's having and making? That's what I want, is I want impact. I want to serve humanity. I want to help others end the suffering of pain, the suffering of fear, because I'm pretty sure you've suffered a lot of pain and a lot of fear in your life. And if you look back at it, it's probably pretty small now at this point in your life. Do one thing today that fear has been telling you not to do. If it's buying that clinic, buy it. Go all in. If it's making amends with a relationship, listen to that Ho'opono prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. That's healing you. You only have control over yourself. But please, whatever you do, do not stay put. Do not stay where you are. I want you to be further down your journey a year from now. I want you to be leaving your pixie dust, leaving a legacy, leaving a mark on humanity, because you are meant for more. You are meant to do big things. And fear is nothing but an illusion. Fear is nothing but a story you're telling yourself. And you can easily tell yourself, what if it all works out better than I could possibly imagine? What if it all works out for me? And start to believe and lean into it is. It's always going to work out for you. It's always going to be better than you imagined. But you are the creator of your reality. You are the designer of your life. And you need to flip the script. You need to be the one that rewrites the story. And you need to be the one that silences that negative voice in your head, the fear in your head that is keeping you from living a happy, beautiful, abundant, blissful life. And in my book, From Food Stamps to Fortunes, yes, I made a fortune, which is beautiful in itself, but the fortune that I live every day is in the knowing of who I am. It's in the knowing that I am the master of my destiny. It's in the knowing that I am light, I am love, and I'm intentionally living a life by design to have impact, to make the world even more beautiful. I don't live from a fear base because I've realized how false it really is. I've learned to reprogram my mind for success. I've learned to reprogram my mind for happiness, for love, for forgiveness. And that is a fortune. That is the most beautiful fortune. You can't even put a price tag on. So I love you all so much, and I want nothing more than each of you living the life you truly love each and every day. But you must eliminate the fear. Have a beautiful day, besties. Until next time, I love you.